Yeah. I want to dedicate this Dvar Torah to the memory of my father, Shai Ben Yankel, whose Yortzeit is 2nd of Av, and any merit for this Dvar Torah should go for Aliyah of his Neshama. And to prepare this Dvar Torah, I used commentary of Or Chaim. And what is so interesting about Or Chaim is that you can take a few words in the text and analyze why those specific words was chosen. And by doing so, he can unveil the deeper meanings, and the text becomes multidimensional and alive and real. And it's almost like watching a movie. It's from the text, it becomes like many layers of meaning and a lot of new layers of reality. So this week we're starting a book of Dvarim, which is the last book of Torah, and I want to talk just about the first pasuk in this book. So I'll read it in Hebrew and then I'll talk about it a little. So it says, "Elech hadvarim asher diber Moshe el kol Israel be'ever hayarden be'midbar be'arava mul suf bein Paran u'bein Tofel ve'Lavan be'chatzerot ve'Zizachar." These are the words that Moshe spoke to Chov across from Yarden in the wilderness in Arava plain facing Suf, between Paran and Tofel and Lavan, Bechatzerot, with Zizachar. So from saying these are the words that Moshe spoke, Or Chaim deduces that only these words come from Moshe. And all the 4 books that are preceding Dvarim, they are only the words of Hashem, and Moshe didn't change even the only letter, even the one letter wasn't changed. But now Moshe speaks from himself. And the book contains Tochacha and Musar. It contains moral instruction and rebuke. And it's very good for us that it's not from Hashem, but from Moshe, because if it was from Hashem, the word creates absolutely. But because it's Moshe, it meant mostly as warning and teaching. The book contains harsh things for Jewish people. But all 40 years that Moshe was a shepherd and leader of Jewish people, he didn't talk to them harshly, even though we find in the book of Bamidbar that one episode that he gets angry and he says, Shimuna Hamorim, listen to me, you rebellious people. But that is meant to only a part of people. But now, as Pasuk says, he talks to all Israel, to all people. Only now he gives them a rebuke and moral instruction. Also, another meaning of these are the words that Moshe spoken is that was all that Moshe spoken. He always spoke Divrei Torah. His conversation was only Torah. As we say in Shema, "V'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'betecha v'letecha b'derech." And in Talmud it says, "Dibarta bam v'lo dvarim betelim." Talk these words of Torah, and not the empty words. And that's what Moshe did all his whole life. He talks lekol Israel. He talks to his generation, but also all the generations. And there are 2 parts in his words. One part is to go over Torah, out of concern that something might have been misunderstood, that somebody might have been mistaken about something. He wanted to clarify and to repeat. And another part of his words is Tochacha. It's rebuke regarding what they did wrong, so they can learn lesson and not make the same mistakes. He talks to all Israel, and that includes all generations, including previous generation also, previous to his generation. As it says in Talmud, in Navi, in Ishaya, it says, Avicha Harishon Hata. The father was the first one who sinned. But it's also addressed to all generations, including us. It's Moshe's letter to us across the generation to convey important teachings. He talks to Be'ever HaYarden. So that means that they were like about to cross Yarden, and only now he gives them rebuke. He talks harsh things, because if he did it before, it could have destroyed Jewish people and prevent them from continuing the journey. But now they were about to enter Eretz Israel, so the spirits were high, and they were able to handle the moral instruction and rebuke. Their goal was within the reach to enter the Eretz Israel and receive inheritance of the land. But what's even more important is that Jewish people being in Eretz Israel brings Hashem's plan. It's an important part of bringing Hashem's plan to completion for bringing the world to perfection. There is another book that I'm learning with my Chavruta, which is called Tub Haaretz by Rabbi Nathan Shapiro. It's a very esoteric book based on the Rizal teachings, and he talks about Eretz Israel, what it means, that it's directly under the throne of glory, and Hashem light is more manifest here. It's focus of Hashem's presence. Actually, the very focus is Temple Mount, and then Jerusalem, and the whole Eretz Israel is the place of Hashem presence. But but Shekhinah needs Jewish people to rest on. Otherwise, it cannot rest. Jewish people, the land without Jewish people is like body without a soul. And we could see it throughout history that when Jewish people were not there, it was like a body without soul. Now that we could make it vibrant and alive, until Jewish people started to come to Eretz Israel. So it's a very important, it was an important point in completing Hashem's plan. And what Moshe wanted to convey to Jewish people is that what kind of people they should be, what it means to be Hashem's people, how to fulfill that important role. And so in this pasuk, where all this description of the geographic location when Moshe was talking, it sounds like description, geographical description, but it actually there is a remez in each description that contains an important teaching, and there are 9 such points. The first point, it says, "Be'ever HaYarden." Ever points to Abraham, who was called Abraham HaEvri. The whole world was on one side and Abraham was another. He had complete faith in Hashem. He had chesed. He approached life actively. And we have to remember who we are, from whom we came, and emulate Abraham. The next point, it says, Ever HaYarden. And Yarden has the same root as Mardut. Mardut means regret, and it says in Tractate Brachot, Tova Mardut Achat Belibo Shel Adam Mimea Malkuyot. It's better one regret in the heart of the person than 100 of lashes. And that means to be self-aware, to know when you do wrong, to be able to correct what you do wrong. And there is actually very good Jewish practice to analyze your day before you go to sleep and think what you did wrong and how you can improve. The third point, it says Bamidbar, and Bamidbar, it hints at Midah of Anava, and it says in Tractate Eruvin, and Ein Dvar Torah mitkayamin ela b'mi shematil atzmo kemidbar. The words of Torah are sustained only in the one who makes himself like very lowly, like desert. Next thing, number 4, teaching number 4, Bamidbar be'arava. Arava is kind of modified midbar. It's says you should be humble, but not in a harsh way. You should have arivut, compassion to others, to be involved with others, to have empathy, to have pleasantness in demeanor. The next point, point number 5, it says mulsu. Suf also means soft. It's awareness of the end of life and purpose of life. And in Pirkei Avot, there are many sayings that stick to that. And one such saying is Shuv Yom Echad Lifnei Mitatecha. You should do tshuva one day before you die. And it's being explained as you have to do tshuva right away because you don't know when it's the last day. The next number 6, it says Bein Paran Uvein Tofel. And Paran denotes fair. Fair is shining, serene disposition. While Tofel denotes subdued feeling in the heart from fears that you did something wrong or your service of Hashem was deficient. So you should have both a serene disposition, but a little bit of fear in the heart. And this is a paradox, but to be Jewish is to live with paradoxes. Then next point is Lavan. Lavan. And Lavan denotes purity of the heart, absence of negative feelings, of envy, of bitterness. It's and the next point, point number 8, it says Vachatzerot. Chatzerot is courtyard, and it hints at courtyards of Hashem, Batei Midrashot or Bas Medrash. And the last point, which is in Pasuk, it says Dizahav, which can be read as Daizahav. It means to not run after possessions, to feel like I have enough. Whatever I have is enough. It's like I have everything. So in summary, when we read this pasuk, it sounds like it's just description, geographical description. But if you read it in that way and you analyze what the meaning of the words and what it relates to, you learn a lot about what it means to live a Jewish life and how much more so it can it relates to us because we are here in Eretz Israel and we are the people on whom hopefully Shekhinah can rest, and maybe all blessed to be able to be what we're supposed to be real, to play our important role in Hashem's plan. Amen.
Okay, thank you so much. That was very lovely.
Not too long.
Perfect timing. I mean, that's how we measure things. Okay, so we're still working on Bona. What were we doing when you left, Dvara? Bona? Grinding? No. Okay, so but we're gonna finish it. There's Hashem. We're gonna finish Bona very soon. So anyway, so we're talking today about just different kinds of window coverings. Okay, so remember this principle we learned a ways back. It's called Mosif al Habinyan. So adding something onto a structure is also considered building on Shabbos, right? Like you add on a room, right? But you can, add a railing to, add some numbers to your front door, add, so the question comes like, what about things like, blinds and things that you hang? So we've talked about it a little bit. So I'll just say, as most things having to do with binyan, there's a wide spectrum of opinions, and there are people who think that you can't put up anything, and there are people who say you can. The main things are that if you have some kind of a curtain or a shade, first of all, you cannot put it up for the first time on Shabbos, right? You've just been working up until the last minute. Your husband's working up until the last minute, and he's hammering him. Who laughed? Okay, when you are working to the last minute, you got the hooks in, and you want to put it up and you can't, because it cannot be put up for the first time. It can't be put up on Shabbos. So if he doesn't finish the job, he has to wait till Motzei Shabbos. No, if this is like a window, like shades or something, you have to put in all the hooks, you put in all the hardware. You can't do that final step of actually hanging it up. So because that has to only be done first time on Shabbos. Or cannot be done for the first time on Shabbos. If something exists already, it's already hanging, and you and it falls off, can you return it? Can you put it back back on the walls, on your windows? There are opinions that no, you can't. The issue is whether it's considered temporary or if it's considered like a permanent thing. Like very often you put something back, it's going to stay there forever. But so that's the reason why people hold that you can't. But other people hold that it's not. You look at it like a curtain isn't like a wall, right? A curtain, you don't confuse a curtain for something that's solidly built. It like blows in the wind, and let me just do blowing in the wind here. Okay, and so it doesn't have that same kind of sense of something that's built. You want to say that again? See, I got another move. Hey, I got more than just this, right? I got this. My repertoire. I am a dancing woman. I am a dancer. Blowing in the wind. Okay, so there are opinions that if it falls off, then you can put it up. What you cannot do is if the brackets fall out of the wall, even one little nail falls off out of it, you can't put it back, because that would be permanence. That's permanence, whatever permanence really means, but I mean relative permanence. So let's say you have a wall hanging that's on a nail. So you can put it up unless it's actually tied down to the bottom. That would be too much permanence. So you can put it up if it's kind of loose and blowing in the wind. And so okay, I do. It works. You play it. Okay, so that pretty much sums up window coverings. Okay, so then we have some rabbinic prohibitions on temporary installations. Okay, so things that are ordinarily nailed or screwed together, you can't repair them on Shabbos. So, for example, the glasses, right. That's, although I'm not sure if it's Bona, that might be Macabbi Patish, but I'm not sure. You can't, you're like the lens pops out of your glasses, you can't put it back in, or the screw comes out, you can't fix it. Okay, but let's say a leg comes out of a chair, right? So it happens all the time. You shove it back in, it stays for a month, it breaks again. You can't do that on Shabbos, because the concern is that, especially for like handy dandy people, they like to, do the job. Like they would. The concern is that they would actually make it permanent. The concern is that they would screw in the screws, they would tighten it too much, they would put glue. They would they would do things that would make it really a permanent thing. So it can't be permanent. You put it away someplace. If that's an issue of child safety, like for example, I'll give you an interesting thing. If the doorknob falls off the door, okay, right? So you actually cannot put the handle back in the door and open the door, right? It's preferable. This is interesting. It's preferable to take a screwdriver if you need to and turn it. But if a child is caught in that bathroom, right, and you can't, okay, you can do whatever you need to do. You can take an axe to the door. You can do whatever you need to do because a child who's in a situation like that could be, they get all crazy, those kids. They just, no, I mean, they would panic because. Okay. Okay. I'll check with my local Orthodox. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so that's and took off the handle purposefully. Okay. And then right. Okay, so I think I just did this a little too quickly. So that's it, and that's all. That's it for today. Please.
Why is there conditioner on in the room? I mean, every place I go now has those clothes and air conditioner on. What? Why are the doors open? Could you put them out of this?
Is that a few with Bona? Just wondering. Is that a There you go. Tell her the mystical meeting. Tell her the mystical meeting. Go close the doors, please. Close the door. Somebody want to close the door?
Yeah. Is the AC on?
I think because when we came in the morning, I don't have to record this. No, when we first